please confirm that you can see me and hear me, guys? Thank you. Thank you. I've got your confirmation. Hi, friends. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? Most of you are very kind with your attention. So let us now shut our eyes for a minute or so. So, a quick recap. Yeah? Akash, do your magic. Haan, beta.
Yes. So, yesterday we discussed about the Arunta tribes.
Haan.
Durkheim studied about the Arunta tribes and said that they worship totem. And their society is very, they are very simple and primitive societies, and they worship totem, and their religion is called totemism. And the conclusion is that
no, thank you. Thanks. That's good content. Please. So, what is a totem?
So, totem is a symbol
of the tribe.
Yeah.
Is it a symbol of the tribe?
Clan.
Clan. It's a symbol of the clan. Now, it is typically what? Like a material object?
Yes.
What is that symbol typically? Is it like a plane or a now or something? It's a plant or animal symbol. Huh? Okay. So what does he observe that what is being worshipped in the Arunta tribe? What is being worshipped? What was very central? The totem. Absolutely. Pass it on. And what conclusions does he draw from that? Yes, that the fact that the Arunta people were worshipping the totem. What does Durkheim infer from that? Correct. So, religion basically entails the society worshipping itself. Absolutely. Pass it on. Then we discussed his, according to him, what are the various functions of religion? What are they? How? Provides a shared sense of morality. You have to say that without looking into your book, beta. Tell me, what is the meaning of the term sacred?
What is set apart and forbidden?
Perfect. Pass it on. Tell me, the chanting that we do at the beginning of the class, how would Durkheim describe it? What are we trying to produce here? Yes? No consultations, please. It's not a project work. What are we trying to do here? Or what does it seem? Pass it on. Absolutely. So it just struck me while chanting today. Why should we be giving like examples when we, from the outside when we have one in our classroom right now? Fine. Then what other functions did we discuss? Yes, yes. Good. Pass it on. What else?
It's a source of strength in the difficult times.
Absolutely.
And
Particularly which kind of difficult times?
like death.
Death, yes.
And
So how does religion help us bear the pain of death?
like there are rituals and practices, chant and all.
So,
So like it helps the soul is went with God.
Huh.
Like there is a connection like with God and He is like present everywhere in form of Atma. Like
okay.
that's
So
the
what are we doing? We are comforting the bereaved. The society or the community is comforting the bereaved. They are expressing support. There is a denial frequently of the fact of death, say in the concept of rebirth, right? And so on. Pass on. Yes, beta.
The relationship of man with God is exactly the same as relationship of man with society.
Very well articulated. Pass it on. And what is the nature of that relationship?
It's like we are accepting our triviality in front of the God.
Yes.
So that produces a kind of powerlessness, humility.
Yes.
So then, as same as society creates God, so that is why indirectly we are accepting that that powerlessness and humility in front of society. So
All
that
right.
also helps in creating social control.
Pass it on. What else did we discuss?
Sir, one of the functions is rituals produce collective effulgence energy which binds us together, a kind of solidarity.
Very good. Pass it on. What else?
Religion help in social control.
How?
Means there are some rules and regulations which are considered to be sacred.
Yes.
And when they are considered to be sacred, they perform and control over the society.
Yes, over the actions of the individuals. Good. Pass it on. Then?
Then there is criticism of Durkheim's theory of religion. And he said that religion ignores the negative consequences of the society.
Like?
So like
Negative consequences of religion.
yeah,
Like?
conflict and violence.
Yeah. Can you substantiate?
So like
Give examples of religion leading to conflict and violence.
cow slaughter,
Cow slaughter. Okay. But like religion doesn't say that you slaughter the cow. In fact, it says you don't slaughter the cow. So how is religion producing violence in this particular case? It is actually. But you'll have to draw that linkage. No? How is cow slaughter? Say cow slaughter becomes an issue in Hindu-Muslim relations. There are communal riots on the issue of the slaughter of the cow. Yeah. Yes.
So next criticism is that the theory of religion that has been propounded by Durkheim enables to believe that the privilege that is being enjoyed by the privileged section of society is evident. For example,
is what?
evident. I mean, it's
I didn't understand the word.
it's evident. I would say it's good. Evident.
Evident.
Yes.
Acha.
So basically, like the caste system and all these are the source of exploitations and oppression. But Durkheim said that whatever the religion, it is a source of cooperation, harmony,
Yes.
and all these.
All right.
So this is the criticism.
Very good. You came very well prepared, I must commend. Like fully armed. Good. Yes.
Armchair sociology.
Yes. Why do we say that? What do we mean by that phrase?
Because he didn't visit any tribe,
Which tribe?
from the tribe.
Arunta tribe. Yes. Very good. Pass it on. Yes.
he ignored the factors of immorality which were also present in the society, like
Not society, beta. He says religion. Critics, say that religion is a source of immorality, while Durkheim considers religion to be a source of morality. Yes, and give an example of that.
like
Yes. Said who? Who criticized Hinduism as immoral? Ambedkar. Yes, continue. Next.
Profane and
Sacred
profane
profane.
and sacred are not universal. universal always. There are some things which are between profane and universal. He didn't explain this.
Like?
Like, sir, you gave example of book which is not holy as we accepted as Gita or Quran, and which is not profane totally, that we touch it with our feet and something like that.
ठीक है. Yes, absolutely correct. ठीक है. Thank you. Pass it on.
Sir, he conveniently neglected the source of exploitation and oppression.
That's been spoken of. Another?
Yeah, the feminist.
Yes.
The feminist one.
What do they say?
He neglects the contribution of women in the society, male-dominated religion.
He ignores the fact that religions oppress women. Right? Pass on the mic. Who said who? Name some feminist scholars who wrote on this. The hint is Karan Johar. Yes. Yes, good. Pass on. What else? Quickly. Yes? Sorry? I couldn't hear you, beta. Tell us what is division of labor? You not prepared? Absolutely. Breaking up of a larger task into smaller constituent units and assigning one process to, say, a particular individual. Right? ठीक है. Next. So what did the economists view division of labor as? Ji.
According, they only confined to the economic aspects of the, and not to the division labor of the entire
society.
I mean, only the economic aspects, like Durkheim said, division of labor is for family also.
Absolutely. 2-4 प्लेन शीट्स दे दीजिए मुझे, यहाँ प्रिंटर में होंगी. तो इधर फाइल में होंगी अंदर. ठीक है. And pass it on. Yeah. So what did we discuss next?
So Durkheim told that it will rise the individualism in the society, the division of labor, because everyone will think about himself only. And then we discussed that the volume was small in the pre-modern society and in the post.
Thank you. Pass on. Take the mic. What is volume? Volume is population. Yes. ठीक है. Pass it on. What other factors he spoke of?
Material density.
Which means?
Density of the population.
Fine. Pass on. And that increases or decreases with modernization? Increases. The next factor?
Moral density.
Which means?
Socialization, interaction with each other.
Okay. And that increases or decreases?
Increases in pre-modern, increases in modern.
Okay. Fine. That will do. Fine. And pass on. Then?
The sum of volume density and moral density is called dynamic density. And when
Yes.
the dynamic density in a society increases, it moves from pre-modern to modern society.
Wonderful. Pass on.
So then we discussed about the changes in the division of labor, like in
No
pre-modern-
crosstalk, please. Let's hear her out. Yes.
Like in pre-modern society, the technology used was very basic, and in modern society, the technology for the use was very advanced, and there were specializations. And people have greater skills.
Great. So that is where we ended. First, let us take up the doubts of the distant students. Any doubts, online students? Please ask. What is civic religion? It is being asked. What is civic religion? Worship of the community, the nation, that is civic religion. Right? Sir, can we say that religion is a binding force for any country like India, where there has been separation demands in non-Hindu majority states like Kashmir and Punjab? So that could be, say, serve as an example, or these are still demands. We've actually had a partition of the country on the basis of religion. So we can clearly say that that kind of, we can use it as a kind of a criticism or counter of Durkheim's theory, which sees only the unifying aspect of religion, or sees religion only as a unifying force, right? It is being asked, how is man's relationship with society equal to relationship with God? I understand that man is powerless in comparison to God, but how is it so with relation to the society? Why do we say that we are dependent on or powerless in front of the society? Because it is the society which fulfills the various needs of man. It makes man who he is or she is. It is the society on which I am dependent for, say, fulfilling my hunger need, my sex need, my need for procreation, my emotional needs, my psychological desire for recognition, and so on and so forth. Man is literally helpless without society. And we possibly discussed at the beginning of the course that no man is an island unto himself. He is necessarily a social animal. He necessarily lives in groups with other men. Okay, so I need to clarify this. Sir, you said religion gives strength in difficult times by giving example of God. But Durkheim doesn't speak about God. He's trying to, put me in a spot. That how can you use the notion of God when that notion is absent from Durkheim's theory of religion? Please appreciate that question is not, the attempt to put me in a spot is not watertight, because most religions, and Durkheim does acknowledge that most religions do have a notion of God or deity. What Durkheim gives is a sociological explanation of religion. So, in most religions you do have, and the idea of giving an example in the class is so that you guys can connect with it. Very simply, right? So, if you ask a layman, for a layman or an ordinary non-sociologist, logical guy, religion is intimately connected with the notion of God. Yes or no? And he sees that power, what we term as God, as a source of strength and solace in difficult times. Now, why Durkheim did not include this concept of God, if it is, if most people do? Why did Durkheim particularly consciously avoid this notion of God in his definition of religion? Because not all religions have a notion of God. Particularly, and Durkheim himself gives the example of an Indian religion, Buddhism. Buddhism does not have a notion of God. So, to have kind of an wider kind of application of his definition of religion, Durkheim omits the mention of God or divinity in his definition. Are you with me? Division of Labour promotes specialization, but can we say it promotes dependence on others? We'll discuss that as we proceed today. We are not yet done with the topic. What is the meaning of religion is diverse force in society? I said, possibly while criticizing Durkheim, it is a divisive force. meaning it divides the people, not diverse, divisive. Can we say Mahatma Gandhi ji also had some functionalist thinking in some areas? For example, the importance of Gram Rajya instead of accepting democracy. It's not instead of accepting democracy, but yes, he did vouch for Gram Swaraj or village level autonomy and independence, restoration of that. Yes, so you use the term functionalist for hardcore sociologists. Gandhi did have that kind of a positive view, let us put it this way. Or he did see various existing arrangements, forget Gram Swaraj, even the caste system, in somewhat functional terms. Okay? So yes. Chaliye, I'll have to hold these doubts here, and any doubts, please ask. And few quick doubts. Durkheim says that religion is a source of morality. Critics argue that it can also promote immorality, immoral behavior. For instance, Hinduism actively promotes the practice of untouchability according to its critics. And untouchability is a highly immoral kind of a social practice, and that a Hindu learns from his religion. So Durkheim was wrong, critics would argue, in seeing religion only as a source of morality. Yes. Can anybody take that up? Yes. No, you for the whole class, of course.
Volume is population, but material density is population density. For example,
So difference between population and population density is population is the total number of people. So say the population of this class is X people, the number of heads we can count here. That is the population. The population density is the number of people in a given area. So it will be like something like, X people per square kilometer. Okay. So the population density of this class will be the number of people divided by the area which we are occupying. Yeah? Which is, which is a more populous country, India or Bangladesh? Which has a bigger population? Which is a more dense country in terms of population, higher population density? Bangladesh. Because in a very lesser area they have a very large number of people. The total number of people in Bangladesh is less than in India, but that I don't have an explanation for. Really? Yes. Sorry?
What do we mean by individual subjectivity?
Where, in what context?
In the social thinkers part, it is given in someone that there are interpretivists and postmodernists on the other side who put individual subjectivity at the heart of discipline.
Meaning, I'll have to possibly read the whole thing, but broadly what it seems to suggest that they acknowledge that, perceptions of different people differ. Positivists largely see social life as, patterned. You and I, we think the same things because we are members of the same society. We do the same things and so on and so forth. Those guys are accepting of diversity of viewpoints amongst the people. Now, why they say that, in what context, that will have to be understood. Yes, interpretivists are non-positivists. Beginning with who? Weber. Chalo, moving on. We'll take it up like a one-on-one after the lecture. And staying with Durkheim's theory of division of labour, we had discussed these changes. as the division of labor changes. Now, before we proceed to this slide, please appreciate, it is very necessary in Durkheim's view that the division of labor, a complex form of division of labor emerges. I'm not discussing the slide right now. I'm just giving you an overview. It is very important that a complex form of division of labor arise as the volume, material density and moral density increase. In simpler terms, it is essential for the society that as the population and population density increase, that the number of occupations existing in that society increase manifold. Why? Why must the number of occupations in a society increase when there is an increase in population and population density? Because Durkheim contends that if the number of occupations do not increase, what will happen? There will emerge very intense and literally blood cutthroat kind of a competition in every occupation. Are you with me? So if there are only 20, 30, 40 occupations like in a traditional society, but the population increases to several crores, then in every occupational category you will have so many people, and the competition between them for clientele will be intense and cutthroat literally. So to reduce the intensity of competition within the those who pursue a particular occupation, the number of occupations itself rises. So instead of 40-50 or 30-40 kind of occupations, modern society has tens of thousands of occupations. So every person is then engaging in competition with far fewer people in comparison to had there only been 20, 30, 40 occupations. Are you able to appreciate? So this provides a peaceful mechanism for the society to manage this situation where you have a significant rise in population and its density. It helps the society to regulate the competition to manageable levels within each occupational category. Let me illustrate with an example. It should become clearer because your faces look slightly blank. What is my occupation? Am I a teacher, as you guys are saying, engaged in competition with all other teachers? No. I am a sociology teacher, engaged in competition only with, not with history teachers or geography teachers or science teachers. Am I a sociology teacher, engaged in competition with all other sociology teachers? Further specialization. I am a sociology teacher for civil services aspirants. Yes or no? Engaging in competition with sociology teachers for civil services aspirants, not with the university sociology teacher, not with the school sociology teacher. Are you with me? So we are how many? 3, 4, 5, 6? Handful? Amongst us is the competition. And then the market can cater to the needs of each of these persons. We all have sociology students. Yes or no? Are you with me? So that is how specialization and super specialization helps to regulate competition to manageable levels. Imagine instead, if I were a teacher, like in traditional societies, you had 20, 30 occupations, you had teacher, you had a blacksmith, you had ironsmith, you had blah blah, soldier and so on. Then I would be competing with all other teachers. But the population has increased, so the number of teachers would have increased significantly. Are you with me? But now my domain is very narrow. अब आई समझ? So the increase in the number of occupations enables the society to manage the competition within each occupational category to, kind of, it can be peacefully managed. Now, because, may I continue? Some of you are writing, it's okay. Finish and then we'll continue. You want me to dictate that bit? Write down. With modernization, comma, a complex form of division of labor, with a large number of occupations, and skill specialization, high degree of skill specialization emerges. Full stop. This enables the society to regulate the competition within each occupational category, What is the sentence that we have written? To manageable levels. And not only this, friends, keep writing. Full stop. In fact, the complex division of labor increases complementarity or complementary nature of tasks. Meaning what? It means that now it not only does it reduce competition to manageable levels, it also facilitates cooperation. To train a civil services aspirant, a sociology teacher will cooperate with the geography teacher and the history teacher and the polity teacher and the economics teacher. Yes or no? Because now I don't have competition with them. And our different skill sets are required to enable the student to meet his objective. Yes or no? So my skills, my knowledge is now complementary to that of the other guy. You understand the meaning of the word complement? Imagine this thing. Let me show you. I love doing this diagram, so I will. Say this and this. They are complementary. Meaning together they make a complete whole. Are you with me? So that. I mean, it's not so obvious that it need not have been stated. Okay. Anyways, so that is how division of labor helps to minimize or reduce competition to more manageable levels in the society. As the division of labor changes from simple to complex, there are several other changes which are also taking place in the society with this transition from pre-modern to modern. What kind of changes? The society on the whole changes from simple to complex. So pre-modern societies are relatively simpler. Modern societies are far more complex. Pre-modern society is homogeneous. While modern society is heterogeneous. What do you mean by homogeneous, heterogeneous? Homogeneous means sameness, characterized by sameness. Everybody is quite similar or alike. Heterogeneity means people are quite different from each other. There is diversity, plurality, right? Why is it that people are homogeneous in traditional societies? And why are they similar? Yeah? Why do people have same thinking? Because of really turn by turn. So why can't we all be a different type? You a Negro, me a Asian, here whatever, huh? European, Caucasian. We have our own, yeah.
More collectivism than individualism.
Yes, more collectivism and less of individualism is there. Also because people come from very similar social backgrounds. So if we are a small tribal group of 100, 500, 1000, quite likely we belong to the same racial stock. Saaf baat hai. We would possibly speak the same language, worship the same deities, pursue similar occupations. Are you with me? A lot of people would be engaged in agriculture and then allied activities. So our clothing patterns, our thinking, our daily routines, everything would be quite similar to the next guy in a pre-modern society. In fact, Durkheim writes, friends, that in a pre-modern society, people are as if produced from the same mold. Individuals are as if produced from the same mold. Mold is that, casting from which you create something. Like a, what? Pot or something which gives shape to an object. Yeah? It's like saying in modern language, it is as if people are photocopies of each other. People are, or individuals are as if produced from the same mold, M-O-U-L-D. Yeah? So because our daily routine is same, our culture is same, our thinking is same, yeah? The society is quite characterized by homogeneity or sameness. But modern industrial society is characterized by heterogeneity. People are greatly different from each other. They come from different backgrounds. You imagine a typical bustling metropolis, a big city, like a Delhi or a Bengaluru or a Mumbai. What do you see? People from diverse racial backgrounds. So you'll have people of the Dravidian stock, of the Aryan stock, of the Negrito stock possibly, of the Mongoloid stock. People look different at a very fundamental level in terms of their skin tone, their hair type and whatnot. People will come from different linguistic backgrounds. How many people are here from, how do we this thing? People from say Tamil Nadu, anybody? Tamil people? Do we have any Hindi speakers? Punjabis? Bengalis? Telugu? Very many Telugus. Odia? See? Haryanvi? Yeah. Rajasthani? With no disrespect meant to any language which may have escaped attention. Tulu? So point is, you can witness literally the linguistic diversity prevalent in one classroom, 100, 200, 300 people, but it is like a microcosm of the modern industrial society. We follow different religions. We come from different economic kind of or financial backgrounds. Yes or no? There would be people whose family income is, say, less than 10,000 rupees a month. And then there would be those who would blow up this much money in a day. Yeah. So because people come from diverse backgrounds, they pursue different occupations. This is not representative in this sense. Most of you are engineers. But otherwise, we end up pursuing, because there are tens of thousands of occupations to choose from and different criteria to choose from, based on which you choose an occupation. So modern industrial society is clearly characterized by heterogeneity of various kinds, whether it is linguistic, racial, religious, class, caste, and whatnot. Right? Collective conscience. Durkheim uses this phrase or term. Let us try to appreciate what it is. What do you mean by collective conscience, friends? Very simply put. Okay, first I'll explain it in simple bhasha, and then I will give the formal definition as well. Simply put, collective conscience refers to the way the man on the street thinks and behaves. The average Joe. Do we have an Indian equivalent of the average Joe? Like this is a kind of an Angrezi, American kind of a phrase. Sharma ji ka ladka is not really the average Joe. Pappu maybe, I don't know. Okay, or whatever. The ordinary guy, like R.K. Lakshman's that, what does he call him, the citizen or whatever. Sorry, you've seen R.K. Lakshman's cartoons, right? So he shows that typical or the average guy, the guy on the street. How he thinks, behaves, what he holds to be true. These are the sentiments, the modes of thinking that are common to the average, ordinary members of the society. Meaning what? Particularly we are not talking about the super educated, the intellectuals, the philosophers and the like. The modes of thought, the norms of that are common to the ordinary guy on the street. Okay? Please write down. Collective conscience refers to the totality of beliefs, and sentiments common to the average citizens of that society. Common to the average citizens of the society. Full stop. Collective conscience comprises of the shared beliefs, norms and understandings in a society. Shared norms, beliefs and understandings in a society. Just to draw a linkage here, you understand the English word conscience? We talk about the individual having a conscience. What do we mean by that? That you listen to your own conscience. You can say it in Hindi if you please. Antaratma ki awaz. Yeah? It's not so much man, because man is chanchal. Antaratma is very sthir and it makes the right decisions. Okay? It is like that inner voice, right? That tells you to do the right thing. So just like an individual has that antaratma, that inner voice, which guides him, similarly the collectivity, the society as a whole also has a conscience. What the society as a whole considers as the done thing, the right thing, that is the collective conscience. So it is the way of thinking of the whole society. And when we say whole society, particularly the average Joe, the common guy. Understood? So collective conscience is strong in pre-modern society or modern society? In pre-modern society. Collective conscience is strong in pre-modern society, while it is greatly weakened in modern industrial society. So collective conscience, my dear friends, represents the hold of the society over the individual, his thinking. Are you with me? And that hold of the society over the individual is sufficiently weakened in modern industrial society. Why does the collective conscience weaken in modern society? Sorry? Yes, because there is growth of individualism and decline in collectivism. So the role of collectivity in my life reduces, or let me rephrase that. I won't say role of collectivity decreases, but its hold over my thinking reduces. The hold of the collectivity over the thinking of the individual reduces. The individual now thinks on his own lines for his own salvation. Also appreciate, in modern society we come from vastly different backgrounds. There is diversity. So what one person coming from Tamil Nadu thinks to be correct, it may be very different from what a person from Rajasthan thinks to be the correct way of life. Yes or no? So our social backgrounds will tell us, or will inform to a greater extent, what we believe to be right or wrong. And since we come from different backgrounds, the agreement amongst us on that issue is that much weaker. Clear? These are the other aspects of social life which change. We will discuss one by one. Individualism is more in which society? In fact, Durkheim began his PhD thesis with this concern for individualism. It is more in, much more in modern industrial society. Individual is discouraged and kept in check in pre-modern society, but in modern society, it literally knows no bounds. what is the nature of law? कानून किस प्रकार के होते हैं? You tell me, in which kind of society you have more stricter punishments, particularly for petty offenses? So if you steal, your hands will be cut off. If you commit blasphemy, your tongue will be cut off. If you look at a woman inappropriately, your eyes will be gouged out. Which kind of society? Pre-modern society has what we term as repressive laws. The nature of laws is repressive. In pre-modern society. But the nature of law in modern industrial society is restitutive. Let me explain the meaning of the term restitutive and why this distinction. In a primitive society or in a pre-modern society, the thinking of the members is quite alike. The collective conscience is very strong. The bonds between the members of the society are strong or weak? Strong. So a crime against any one member of the society is considered as a crime against the whole society. So the smallest infraction or the smallest violation hurts the whole of the society. So very severe punishment is therefore meted out to the individual, the criminal. But in modern industrial society, typically crimes in general and small crimes in particular, petty crimes, are they considered a crime against the whole society? No. They are regarded as a crime against the aggrieved person, an individual only, right? So if you steal my money, will the whole society demand the cutting off of your hands? No. I am the aggrieved person. Yeah? So what you do, you are expected to make good the laws that you have caused to me. That's about it. So the punishment is not so severe. Rather it is, the law is restitutive. In the sense you have to make good. Whatever losses have taken place or whatever, hurt has been caused by you to the individual concerned. Are you with me? Though for some cases, do we also have repressive law in modern societies? Like in our society, if we consider ourselves modern, do we have repressive laws for any kind of crimes? Like which? For rape particularly, so we do have, say, a restitutive kind of a punishment, capital punishment, the death penalty. Yeah? Though Supreme Court has said it is to be applied in the rarest of the rare cases. I remember there was one case, I think it was Afzal Guru or some case, some terrorist person, and the Supreme Court in fact said the collective conscience of the society has been hurt and that needs to be now assuaged, or this thing. So that was seen as a crime against the whole of society. Are you with me? But by and large, the nature of law in modern society is restitutive. and in primitive societies it is repressive. What about, friends, the nature of social relationships? Imagine a village, a rural area, as kind of a representative of pre-modern society in our own country, and urban, bustling cities as representative of modern society. Are the nature of, how many of you have lived both in villages and cities? Raise your hands. Good. Do you think there is a qualitative difference in the nature of social relationships in villages and in cities? How many of you have spent a very long period or almost entire lives in rural areas? Raise your hands. So now that you have come to a city, Delhi, what kind of changes do you perceive in your relationships with people, the kind of relationships which exist here? How are relationships in the city different from the village? Tell me from personal experience. Forget Durkheim. Durkheim I'll teach. Relationships in the city are superficial, and in the village they are solid. Yeah. Don't use sociological terms. Leave that to me and Durkheim. Are you from a village background? Yeah, that was. Sorry? Close and intimate kind of relationships in the village and very impersonal. Yes or no? Formal kind of relationships in the city. In village it is person oriented. So you meet people as a whole. You go to the village grocer, and do you only talk about buying grocery? He will also talk to you about, और आपकी अम्मा का पाँव ठीक हो गया, चोट लगी थी उनको 2 हफ्ता पहले, है ना, मुन्नी के 10 ठीक हो गए, and so on and so forth. They will ask you the whole thing, whatever is happening in your life. They are so concerned about you. But in the city, you pay the money, you take the product, and you don't even know the name of the person. Yes or no? People simply are not emotionally involved with each other in cities. Yes or no? The engagement is at a very formal level. Do you literally care for others in the city? It is to each his own. You are left to your own devices. Yes or no? And that is why the city environment, particularly to those who come from a village background, seems so intimidating. बड़े मतलबी लोग हैं यहाँ. Yes or no? Everybody seems to be out there to get you. Right? Nobody seems to be concerned about you. That is there. So there is a very qualitative difference in the kind of social relationships that the village atmosphere fosters and that which the city atmosphere fosters. In urban areas, relationships are formal, characterized by, as you rightly said, superficiality, indifference, rules and regulations bound, devoid of any emotion. Yes or no? So you've been now studying from me. Do you care for me? Only to the extent the course gets completed and on time. Yes or no? Apart from that, if there is the biggest upheaval in my life, do you really care as long as the classes are being conducted on time and as per schedule? Sir, honestly, no. And the feeling is reciprocated. So that is the nature of urban living. So likho na, the nature of social relationships in a pre-modern society, they are emotion laden, durable. Yes or no? They are long lasting. So the same grocer you will have for how many years? Generations. Spanning across generations. हमारे दादाजी उनकी दुकान से लिया करते थे, तो हम भी लेंगे. They are long lasting. They are personal and intimate. They are multi-dimensional. So I am not only your grocer in the village, I am also your confidant. I'll keep your secrets. I'll possibly loan you an amount. I'll offer you emotional comfort. I'll be the place where you do bakar. Or, casual banter. Casual banter. Okay. In the city or in the modern society, the nature of relationships is formal, superficial, unemotional. It's like zalim dunya. Rules based, purpose driven, transient, and transactional. So our relationship is for how much time? 4.5 months dot. Huh? From my side it is. And hopefully from your side also it will evolve as we spend more time together. What about interdependence? Coming to the next element. Interdependence amongst the members of the society, amongst individual members of the society, is higher in which society? Pre-modern or modern? Higher in which society? Interdependence. How many of you think it is the pre-modern society where it is higher? Interdependence amongst the individuals is higher in pre-modern society. Raise your hands. No caveats accepted. The interdependence amongst the individuals is higher in modern society. Who agree with this statement? And you are right. Interdependence amongst the individuals is higher in case of modern society. It is higher in modern society, friends. It is low in pre-modern society. Why is it low in pre-modern society? Bitya.
Sir, because in pre-modern society, man used to do most of his things on his own and wasn't dependent on someone else for everything. Like for modern man, someone is dependent on someone for their basic necessities to be done, like housemaids, like food to be given, like clothes to be made. So modern man is more dependent on it.
I couldn't have explained it any better than that. She's explained it very precisely. In a pre-modern society, please appreciate, people are quite similar to each other, including in terms of their skill sets, capabilities, and occupation. Are you with me? So whom do I depend on for food? Tell me. In a pre-modern society, self. I grow my food by tilling the land. Whom do I depend on for clothing? Who makes my clothes? Possibly the lugai. Yeah. The wife. Yeah. So she will stitch my clothes. What about, so please appreciate, the consumption levels are very low in pre-modern society. There are less things to be consumed by every individual. The level of technological advancement is low. So how do I travel from one place to the other? On foot. Whose? My own. Yes or no? But in modern industrial society, now what has happened? There are tens of thousands of occupations. And my skill sets have been narrowed down with specialization. The consumption levels have increased greatly compared to the pre-modern man. Are you with me? So how do I fulfill my other needs? I'm dependent on the other members of the society. Friends, for example, what do I know? I know only and only how to teach sociology to UPSC aspirants. But I also eat food, which I don't grow or cook. Since morning, I have exhibited my dependence on so many people. I've consumed food grown and cooked and transported for me by other people. I began my morning, say, by brushing my teeth, using soap. Did I produce my own toothbrush? For that very toothbrush, I am dependent on a host of people engaged in its manufacture, transport, retail, and so on and so forth. Yes or no? And in pre-modern society, I go outside, pluck it from the tree and do datul. Level of technology is rudimentary. Yes or no? So I don't need a toothpaste and a toothbrush which I need today. Then I came here by a vehicle. Can I manufacture that vehicle? No. In pre-modern society, I was either walking it by foot or by a bullock cart or something. Are you with me? In my vehicle, there is petrol. Do I produce my own petrol? No, I don't. I've been using a mobile phone. Can I make my mobile phone? No. Can I produce electricity to charge it? Can I make this mic, this slide? Even for this slide, I was dependent on him. Are you with me? So, because of technological advances, because of increased consumption levels, and because of a narrower area of skill specialization, in modern society, every person is more dependent on the other members of the society for the fulfillment of his various needs. In pre-modern society, it is like thoda hai, thode ki zarurat hai. There are less things to be had, the consumption levels are low, and there is no technology to be consumed or operated upon. So the degree of interdependence is far higher in case of modern industrial society. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Now it's a globally integrated economy. Many things we import from other countries. Many things we grow and we lack but we export. Yes.
So can we say that due to the increasing pace of life also the interdependence has been increased?
Absolutely. Or what you will use in Durkheim's bhasha, how will you say it? Because of increase in moral density. We are interacting with more and more people, more frequently. That's what you call in layman terms of fast-paced life. What about the nature of solidarity? Solidarity meaning how the society is remaining intact. Please also appreciate this was also the question troubling Durkheim's mind. How is modern society remaining intact despite heightened individualism? In pre-modern society, how are people, staying together? What is uniting them? It is their sameness. Their sameness. They are all the same or near about the same. And that sameness is the source of social solidarity. This social solidarity, prevalent in pre-modern societies, which is based upon sameness, Durkheim terms as mechanical solidarity. Mechanical solidarity. This is not anyways visible. The mechanical solidarity is the kind of solidarity which is prevalent in pre-modern societies, arising out of sameness of its members, arising out of homogeneity. That is obvious, that part. What holds together the pre-modern society. But what is the source of solidarity? What holds together the modern society? It is this high degree of interdependence amongst its members. And this solidarity Durkheim terms as organic solidarity. Modern society is characterized by organic solidarity, which means that the people are brought together not because of their sameness, they are not the same, but it is arising from their high degree of interdependence on the other members of the society. So, we have now answered Durkheim's original question. Durkheim himself answered that how is modern society able to stay intact? It is because of the organic solidarity produced due to a very high degree of interdependence produced in the heterogeneous modern society. Clear? Acha, one question I want to ask, like I forgot in the initial stage regarding the revision. What was the name of Durkheim's book on division of labor? Don't show tongue. You have to try to answer the question. Don't look up, yeah. Sitting right under my nose. What was the name of Durkheim's book? Division of Labor in Society. It couldn't have been simpler than that. Okay? Chaliye. We are not yet done with his theory. Tell me, friends, don't talk here. Please, guys, don't. Tell me, is this transition from a traditional society to a modern society, is it a smooth affair? Is this significant change in the life of the people, is it ever a smooth affair? The answer is no. This period of change from pre-modern to modern society is characterized by what Durkheim terms as anomy. The transition from pre-modern to modern society is characterized by anomy. What is anomy, friends? Write later, first understand. And I shall dictate. Okay. What is anomy? Anomy simply means, in one word, if it has to be translated, it means normlessness. Normlessness. A situation where there are no norms. Now please appreciate, are norms essential from a functional perspective? Are norms important for social life? Shared norms. They are very, very important. They are basic, essential. Yes or no? Without these shared norms, as we had discussed, we cannot effectively live in cooperation and harmony. It is because of our shared norms that we are able to meet each other's expectations, have certain expectations from each other, right? But when a society is transforming significantly and at a rapid pace, what happens is that there is a tumultuous change, very rapid and large scale kind of change. So the two kind of things may happen regarding the norms. One is there may arise a situation when there are no norms in the society. The norms of the traditional society have been wiped out, but modern norms are not yet ready to replace them. In simple terms, friends, normlessness or anomy means what? The society is not able to offer clear guidelines to its members. What do the norms tell us? They tell us, individual members of the society, how to behave, what to eat, how to dress, and so on and so forth. So we conduct our lives following the social norms. When there are no clear guidelines from the society, there is what? Massive confusion. The individual members don't know what to do and what not to do, how to behave, how not to behave, what is acceptable and what is not. Are you with me? So there is widespread confusion in the society. The society does not offer clear guidelines to the individuals regarding how they are expected to carry out their lives or their day-to-day things. This period is called anomy or normlessness. Is it clear? When does anomy take place? When there is transition or change from pre-modern to modern industrial society. लिखो. The term anomy literally means normlessness. The term anomy literally means normlessness. Normlessness. Okay? Full stop. According to Durkheim, when a society changes from a traditional to a modern type, there is an intervening stage. There is an intervening stage of anomy. Full stop. During this stage, the society is unable to offer clear guidelines for its members. Full stop. In many areas of social life, there may be an absence of any governing norms. There may be an absence of any governing norms or guidelines. Basically, what is happening, friends? The society is changing rapidly. So, say a new situation has arisen, for which there does not exist any template or any existing, set of do's and don'ts. How do you analyze Indian society in general? We are a traditional society or a modern society? Are we traditional or are we modern? Or are we moving from traditional to modern as we speak? So we are currently undergoing that transition from traditional to modern. Are there any areas of normlessness where the society doesn't offer us clear guidelines regarding our conduct or behavior as individuals? There may be certain areas, like we said, where there are no guidelines or where the guidelines are confusing. For example, regarding this digital world, it is new. So, in the digital world, is it all right for a man to send a friend request to a female you don't know? Is it okay or is it not? Ki, can I have friendship with you? Those messages. We aren't too sure, simply. So if the guy is decent, it may be okay. But if the guy is lafanga, it may not be. Right? So the society is unable. Is it okay to troll? There's a lot of trolling going on online. So say for one's political views or affiliations, right, or one's profession of a certain ideology, is it okay to abuse online? But it is rampant. I remember when Facebook first came in our lives, a lot of people in our families, they were telling some members, particularly the women, don't post your pics in public. They may be misused. Did you guys also have that? Because I think you were born around that time. I don't know how. But there was that phase of very great uncertainty. That female pics can be misused. They can be morphed and, used for pornography and all kind of vile purposes. And now, thank you, beta. Thank you. Now that Facebook thing, whether women can post their photos, women from decent families or not, that is now settled. But in many other areas, we are still confused. Likho. Kya likha hai last? Just one person, yes? Any governing norms. When you have a rapidly changing situation, new situations arising, full stop. In some other areas of social life, there may be conflicting norms. There may be conflicting norms. In other words, you receive contradictory signals from the society when there are conflicting norms. Some norms tell you you do this, and other norms tell you you do quite the opposite. And what does the individual do? He is confused. For example, once you become, inshallah, a civil servant, and your sibling comes to you asking for a favor, do you oblige? Yes or no? What do the modern norms of bureaucracy, the rules of governance, what do they tell you? Should you oblige your siblings or family members with favors? Clearly no. And what would family tell you? What will your parents say? What good it is that you became an IAS agar tu bhai ke kaam nahi aayi? Yes or no? So family expectations, norms are different. They expect that you favor your near and dear ones, your kith and kin, your caste members, your community members. And then the norms of the bureaucracy, the constitution, they have a different set of expectations from you. Are you with me? So you have conflicting norms at play. Tell me, boys, once you make it to the list or settle in your career in general, and then what do you do next in life? You get married. Will you accept dowry? God, there is such great reluctance I did not expect. I was expecting a resounding no, at least a formal one. There was not even a murmur of no. They seem to be quite clear, hum to lenge. But in general, you should be expecting a conflict. Why? Because the legal norms, the constitution, your modern upbringing, your notions of gender equality, they militate against the practice of dowry. And then what will your family members, your parents say? Beta, बहुत खर्चा हुआ है आपके शादी में, आपके परवरिश में. Yes or no? We also gave when your sister got married. Yes or no? तो ये तो प्रथा चली आ रही है. They are giving it willingly to their darling daughter. Who are you to stop them? Yes or no? From expressing their love. Right? There are conflicting norms. So we are in a, what are we? We are perpetually in that state of confusion. The society is not able to offer us clear guidelines. The female students, once you become a civil servant, will you, and then you will also get married sooner than the boys or to the boys. So once you get married, will you do saas ki seva and pati ki seva or no? Will you nurture your children? That yes. So you will still be bound to the mothering duty. Your duties as a wife. Are you with me? So on the one hand, your call of duty as an officer will tell you to do certain things, devote your time in a, or use your time in a certain manner, expend your energies for certain purposes. And on the other hand, there would be a different set of societal expectations. That you devote your time, energy, effort to certain other kinds of tasks. And you are what? Mighty confused. To likho. What is the last sentence? Only him. Yes. No, sentence.
In some other area of social life, there may be conflicting norms.
There may be conflicting norms. Full stop. This creates a general atmosphere of confusion in society. Next para. Anomy occurs during periods of small changes or big and transformative changes, drastic changes. Anomy occurs during periods of drastic and rapid changes. Drastic and rapid changes in the political, social, economic structures prevalent in society. Full stop. During the period of anomy, traditional norms may have been destroyed, but new modern norms have not yet emerged to replace them. Full stop. The old scale, scale meaning tarazu, SCALE, okay, the weighing scale. The old scale has been upset. The old scale has been upset, but a new scale has not yet been devised. The period of anomy is unstable. It is unstable, chaotic, and rife with conflict. Conflict ridden, full of conflict, whatever you write. Full stop. It is a period of social derangement. Full stop. Social norms that provide stability and certainty. Social norms that provide stability and certainty have been weakened or are missing. Full stop. Individual members are consumed by insatiable desires. Insatiable desires. INSATIABLE. Insatiable, it's an English word, not a sociological word. It means that which cannot be satisfied. No? Like unquenchable thirst, kind of, like that. insatiable. Insatiable. It means aseemit महत्वाकांक्षाएं. Unlimited desires. You simply write unlimited desires. Full stop. Many members or many people, keep writing without talking. Many people consider that their work is meaningless and not valued by the society. It gives rise to, it meaning anomy, gives rise to social tensions, and social disorder. Full stop. There is a general atmosphere. There is a general atmosphere of hopelessness and widely prevalent unhappiness. सब दुखी हैं. एक समाज में मायूसियत सी छा गई है. You know, there is a general, widely pervasive, all pervasive kind of a, gloominess, that sentiment of unhappiness. How many of us kind of feel that way? Overall, that not just me personally, but it seems that everybody is dissatisfied and unhappy. It is very widespread. In modern societies, how many of us can claim to be truly happy, satisfied, content? We may be successful in some terms. We may come from very comfortable socio-economic backgrounds. And from my personal one-to-one conversations with large numbers of students, I can tell you, the more privileged a background a student comes from, the more tense he is. And I tell them, you are unnecessarily taking tension here. Your background provides you a cushion. You are not at this thing. But they are so tense. They are so full of that zeal to prove their own worth, that I am not all my father's money or position or background. Do many of us feel that sense of pressure, unhappiness, not being able to achieve or kind of assert our independent worth? That is anomy for you. No. Durkheim would not agree with you. Okay, some other guy will. Merton will. Okay, we'll discuss Merton later, but for now we are with Durkheim. From Durkheim's perspective, friends, now this is a very gloomy picture that we have painted. It's like पता नहीं क्या आग लग गई और तबाही हो गई समाज में. As if the world has been turned upside down and there is no hope. But in Durkheim's theory, and that is the beauty of functionalism, there is a silver lining. To this very gloomy picture that we have painted, there is a very bright silver lining, which is what? The period of anomy, friends. Does it last forever? We discussed in the beginning of this topic, it is a transitional phase. In other words, it too shall pass. It is for a temporary period. It is for a while. It is when society is undergoing that phase of transition. But once the modern society is established, then once again that period of confusion and lack of clarity and norms will be over. Once again society will offer clear guidelines to its members how to conduct themselves. So when we become a truly, fully industrial and modern society, then if your sibling comes, will you favor them or no? Nalayak, no, you won't. Not in an industrial modern society. There, will you be doing pati ki seva and saas ki seva? Hell no. Right? So those traditional norms which expect from you certain kinds of behavior, they will be a thing of the past. And you and your husband will be inviting your in-laws and your parents to your wedding. Yes or no? Like it happens in a modern society. Just let us complete the topic and then we open up for discussion when I deem fit. Okay? So please write down. Please hold your thought there. Yeah? The one who had a question. The phase of anomie, next para, is a transitional phase. New, transitional phase, full stop. New modern norms will eventually completely replace the traditional ones. Full stop. Confusion and unhappiness will be a thing of the past. And the society will transform into a truly modern one. Truly modern one. Clear? So that is Durkheim's theory of division of labor, including his concept of anomie, which talks about the lack of clarity of norms and overall confusion during the transition period. One last topic in his theory of division of labor. In his theory, friends, Durkheim also talks about certain abnormal forms of division of labor. Certain abnormal forms of division of labor. Three types of abnormal forms he talks about. Three abnormal forms of division of labor. First is anomic division of labor. Anomic division of labor. Anomic division of labor means what? Anomic means what? Lack of clarity regarding the norms. So when there is lack of clarity regarding the norms governing the economic behavior of man, it is known as anomic division of labor. I repeat, when there is lack of clarity or lack of regulations, lack of norms governing the behavior of man in the economy, in the economic domain, at the workplace. It is known as anomic division of labor. Please appreciate, friends, when Durkheim was writing, this was roughly in the immediate aftermath of the French and industrial revolutions. During that period, in Durkheim's own lifetime, there was a lot of industrial conflict was rampant. Industrial conflict was rampant. It was widespread. Particularly between who? The managers and the workers in the factories. The owners, managers of the factories, they wanted to maximize profits, for which they wanted to pay minimum wages, least possible wages. The workers, on the other hand, they wanted to maximize their wages. The managers blamed the workers for low industrial output, accusing the workers of being lazy and unproductive. कामचोर, काम ही नहीं करते, हाथ ही नहीं चलाते, काम धंधा कैसे चलेगा? You may have heard such things being said about the working class, that they are lazy, unproductive, inefficient, dumb and whatnot. Yes or no? The workers saw the management, the owners, as perpetually greedy. तो सेठ का बस चले तो ये मुझसे मेरी 2 रोटी भी छीन ले. Yes or no? Left to him, he will snatch away my last morsel. So there was perpetual and incessant industrial conflict, a lot of strikes, lockouts, loss of productive work hours and man days. It was in this context that Durkheim gave his theory of, or this concept of anomic division of labor. This is symptomatic of anomic division of labor, friends. There are no norms. Clear norms are not there. So the owners and managers are driven by incessant greed, and so are the workers, driven by the desire for higher and higher wages. The society is unable to offer clear guidelines to its members, that you should cap your expectations, that this much is enough. Are you with me? This is what Durkheim termed as anomic division of labor. So say you are getting 100 rupees dihadi as your daily wage, you want 200. Once you get 200, you want 300, you want 400 and 500 and 700. There is no limit to your desires of wealth, of greater pay. The second abnormal form of division of labor that he talks about is forced division of labor. Forced division of labor. Forced division of labor means what? When an individual, you write, it will be self-explanatory, or I'll explain after dictating, okay? Forced division of labor means, right, I'm dictating, means that an individual is pushed or compelled into an occupational role which does not match his temperament, inclination, interest, and abilities. Okay? In other words, you are stuck in a particular occupational role. Your capabilities, your skill sets, your interest, your genius makes you fit for possibly another role. But then you are stuck doing something else. Because of what? Why should an individual be forced to be doing something which, he doesn't want to, or which doesn't match his skills, his abilities, his temperament? Can you give any example of such a system where many individuals are compelled by something to pursue an occupation which is not matching their, yes? Prostitution could be an example, absolutely. Very good. So what compels the prostitutes into that profession? It is economic hardship, clearly, right? What else? Dil ka dukh zuban pe aa gaya. And you speak for most of us over here when you do. Huh? No, on a more serious note.
So family business is compelling, like if someone doesn't want to get into that business, then by parents.
That is the problem of the rich, गल्ले पे बैठना पड़ रहा है. God, now I have to count money. Such petty things I need to now look at. Yeah. Something I was getting on the side otherwise, now I have to kind of sit and count it. Such a petty task, not suited to my, more intellectual tastes. I would rather philosophize. A system, friends, and the hint is prevalent in our society. The caste system. Structured inequalities like caste or those of wealth. Yes or no? They compel people into certain occupations. So I may have the propensity, the inclination, the intellectual heft or capability to become a pandit. But if I am born in a certain lowly caste, I will be compelled to the corresponding occupational role. And you may be an idiot of the highest order, but born in a caste which pursues an intellectual occupation. So you will pursue that. But you may be made for more menial kind of tasks. Yes?
It is true for pre-modern society.
Yeah.
Like we are talking about modern.
No, we are not necessarily or only talking about modern societies. We are just giving an example of abnormal forms of division of labor. Mind you, also, coming to that, does caste play a role in occupation selection in contemporary Indian society?
Yes.
It does? Tell me, what is the caste of a computer engineer? Most of you are. Do you belong to different castes? So we'll discuss this aspect later on, but yes, you are right when you say caste does have a bearing on one's occupation or economic this thing, even in modern Indian society. That would be something that Durkheim would call forced division of labor. Simply because of circumstance, because of economic hardship. If I'm, I may be compelled to ply the rickshaw. My ability, my talent may be to become an IAS officer. But because of economic hardship and circumstances, I am compelled to follow another occupation, like a brick kiln worker or a rickshaw puller. Yes or no? And the third type, may I proceed, or you want to write something, like whatever you're writing on your own? The third type is inadequate organization. Inadequate organization means what? When work is not properly coordinated and properly organized amongst the people. When work is not properly coordinated and organized. How many of you have any sort of work experience? Raise your hands. Worked in any sort of organizations and offices? In all offices or wherever you have worked, are there always people in all organizations who, what? No, there are of course people. You let me ask. How can you say no? Are there people who, in every organization, who simply don't have any clarity regarding what their role is? So they simply keep sitting there, whiling away their time. They're just there. They exist, and that's about it. Are you with me? That is because, in organizations, in modern terminology, we call them KRAs, key result areas. Okay? That this is what you are responsible for. You are responsible for accounts. You are responsible for software development. You are responsible for managing the IT system. You are responsible for marketing. You are responsible for finances, and so on. We need clarity. But then, in many organizations, there are many such people who do not have clarity regarding their roles and responsibilities. Now, because of them, or because of this inadequate organization, improper organization and coordination, it leads to an increase in efficiency or in the efficiency or decrease in the efficiency? Decrease in the efficiency. Are you with me? People are simply sitting idle doing nothing, bluntly put. Likho. Inadequate organization. Dash. You've written something already. Continue writing from there. Division of labor, in such cases, leads to a decline in the efficiency instead of its increase. All right? Durkheim friends, so these are the three types of abnormal forms of division of labor. Durkheim friends not only discussed these pathological or abnormal forms of division of labor, he also offered some solutions. What is to be done? How can this situation be addressed or tackled? As follows. Yes. How can we deal with these abnormal forms of division of labor? One solution that Durkheim proposed was the establishment of professional type associations. Establishment of professional type associations in different sectors of the economy. Professional type associations. What kind of associations are we talking about? Let me just bring it forth by illustration. In many, you would have seen, even in our times, there are in many or certain professions, you have certain governing bodies. They are not governmental really, they are managed, operated by members of that fraternity, that profession. For example, for doctors, you have a Medical Council of India, kind of a body, right? For lawyers, they have their own bar councils and all. For press, members of the press have their press council or something of the sort, members of the broadcasting and blah blah. Now, what do these associations do? They basically address the anomic division of labor. In other words, anomic division of labor is that everybody is driven simply by personal greed. So these associations temper the greed and the expectations of their members. They induce in them a sense of commitment or duty to the wider society. Yes or no? For example, the Medical Council of India, what would it do? It would administer the Hippocratic Oath to its members. What is the Hippocratic Oath? What doctors take basically, that I'll be good to the patients, I'll not exploit them, I'll not refuse to treat a patient, say for money or whatever, I will not misdiagnose or misdirect and blah blah. I will not do anything to, which will harm his body or his life and so on. So what is it doing? It is imposing or it is administering to them a code of conduct. Are you with me? And the doctor is made to realize that my job is not, I'm becoming a doctor not only to make money, umpteen amounts, but I have a sense of commitment and duty to the society. Likewise, the press council would, tell its or teach its members that your duty is to report truthfully and so on and so forth, without fear or favor and blah blah. So, the establishment of such type of professional associations, why have it amongst only these few? Media houses and lawyers and doctors, etc. Let us have a similar kind of an association for mine workers, for teachers, for blah blah, accountants, and so on and so forth. And these associations, self-regulatory kind of in nature, will serve to temper the greed of their members and cultivate in them a sense of duty and commitment to the wider society. So jhagde will then be less. People will not be driven solely by greed or personal benefit. Second, complete writing whatever you were writing, then we'll move on to the next. Another solution that Durkheim saw to address abnormal division of labor was the birth of the contract. The birth of the contract. What is a contract? It is a written and signed legal agreement amongst parties which clearly lays down the terms and conditions of engagement. Yes or no? That is effectively what a contract is. So, these kind of written, formal, legal and binding documents will make it very explicitly clear at the time of engagement to both parties what they can expect from the other. So the workers will know, okay, that this is the amount of money that the industrialist is promising to me. And this is what I have to give him in return, say 8 hours of duty. Yes or no? And so on and so forth. So the birth of the contract will also serve to reduce conflict and temper the expectations of the members of the society. Okay? Simply put, things should be, made clear in writing. That's what we are saying. Rather than leaving them arbitrary, undecided, vague, unstated, unwritten. You simply pen down everything. Then the scope for conflict reduces. All right? How do you address and who addresses forced division of labor? That people are not compelled into certain lowly occupations for which they are not fit due to circumstances, inequality, or disprivilege. Who does that? The government. And how? Through the agency of law, through policy making. For example, how do we ensure that a person born in a certain lowly caste is not compelled to follow the occupation of the forefathers and can strive for, and if he has capabilities, become a civil servant, for instance? Sorry? Yes? Yes, through the agency of the law. So you have progressive legislation, affirmative action measures like the reservation policy. Yes or no? How do you ensure that people are not compelled by financial hardship to follow an occupation which they are not meant for? You provide scholarships, free ships, and so on and so forth to children from disprivileged backgrounds. Yes or no? So the state will play an important role in addressing such abnormal division of labor through legislation, through regulation, through policy making. With that, friends, we are done with Durkheim's theory of division of labor. We are not done for the day. Okay? So we take a very short kind of a break and then we continue. Friends, please confirm that I am audible. Online friends, please confirm. Please type yes. Thank you. Please settle down. So we are done with Durkheim's theory of division of labor. Moving on to the next topic, which is social facts. Social facts. One second. There are no criticisms of division of labor as in? One sec, huh? We now move on to the next topic, which is social facts. Now, while giving this concept, friends, we will study what social facts mean, how they are defined and all that. But I just want to give you a background of why Durkheim came up with this concept of social facts. Please appreciate, when Durkheim was writing, there was no subject called sociology. So he is amongst the founding fathers of the discipline. So it fell on his shoulders, along with the other founding fathers, to define the subject matter of this then emerging discipline of sociology. And it was in this context that he came up with the concept of social facts. What is the subject matter of sociology? If you ask Durkheim, he would say the subject matter of sociology is social facts. So sociology is what? It is the study of social facts. When the subject was being established, it met with resistance. Establishment of sociology as an independent discipline was opposed by certain then existing disciplines. Particularly, it faced a strong opposition from philosophy and psychology. These two disciplines, friends, psychology and philosophy, claimed what is really new, that this new subject claims to be teaching. We already discussed pretty much whatever this subject claims to talk about. It was in this climate of academic and intellectual resistance to sociology that Durkheim gave the concept of social facts. To carve out literally the distinct identity, the distinct subject matter of sociology. So Durkheim categorically states that sociology is the study of social facts, which are different from psychological facts or other facts. Are you with me? So we are only concerned with the study of social facts. And we are an independent discipline with a subject matter of its own. That was Durkheim's primary, shall we say, concern or driving objective while giving this concept of social facts. To give this then emergent, then new subject of sociology and independent identity and a distinct subject matter of its own. Then, of course, he goes on to define social facts. How does he define social facts? Social facts are collective ways of acting, feeling, and thinking social facts are collective ways of acting, feeling, and thinking that are external to the individual. That are external to the individual. And endowed with the power of coercion. Endowed with the power of coercion by reason of which or by means of which they control him. By means of which they control him. I repeat, social facts according to Durkheim are collective ways of acting, feeling, and thinking that are external to the individual and endowed with the power of coercion by reason of which they control him. Him meaning the individual. By reason of which they or by means of which they control the individual. Now please divide this intimidating statement into its parts and you will be able to understand it simply. So the first keyword here is collective ways. Social facts are collective. So they are not the property of an individual or a particular family. They are pursued by who? The whole of the society. So it is how we, not me, but we as a society think or feel or do what are regarded as social facts. See, if the definition is somewhat intimidating, let me simply state what social facts are. Simply stated, friends, social facts are the collectively decided aspects of our lives. Whatever the society decides for us, imposes on us, those are social facts. Very bluntly put. Whatever, you don't write this as a definition in the examination hall, but this is in essence what it means. Social facts are social. In the sense they are decided by the society. And the individual has to submit or comply. Hold on. For example, language. We choose or society chooses and we submit. You choose or you submit to the dictates of the society when it comes to the language that you speak. You submit. Society decides. You speak, you meaning the individual. You merely speak the language which the society tells you to. Shall we talk in French? Of course not. Why? Because our society has not provided us that environment that we can speak in or understand French. Clothing that you are wearing, decided by who? You think you decide that I want to wear pink color or blue color. Society decides what kind of clothing we wear. The marriage that we enter into, who decides? That it will be in the same caste, village exogamy, gotra exogamy. We decide. Society decides. Various social arrangements, social institutions that you have, who decides? Society decides. All of these are what? Social facts. The various norms of the society, the various social institutions, all these are social facts. They are the socially determined or collectively determined aspects of our life. Whatever the collectivity or the society imposes on the individual, that's a social fact. Is it clear? In layman terms, then we can proceed with the intimidating definition. As the clock strikes 5, you lose interest, direction, and there is an overall feeling of unhappiness, anomic kind of a situation. Bear with me for a moment. So, how does he define social facts? They are the collective ways of acting, feeling and thinking. So it's not what I or an individual does, it is what I do as a part of the group or the collectivity. Are you with me? Collective ways of acting, feeling and thinking that are external to the individual. So social facts are external to the individual. Please appreciate. I speak Hindi language. So is the whole of Hindi within me? Or does it exist outside of me? Clearly it has an outside existence, an independent existence outside of the individual members of the society. So it is external to the individual. So Hindi was not, it did not spring from within me. It was from the outside that Hindi was imposed on me. These are collective ways of acting, feeling and thinking that are external to the individual and endowed with the power of coercion. Endowed in the sense they are blessed with or they have. Power of coercion. Coercion means they can force the individual to submit, to comply. Coerce means to force, to compel. Alright? It's not a sociological term, it's an English word. Both of these. Okay? Endowed with the power of coercion by reason of which they control him, meaning control the individual. In other words, what Durkheim is saying, these socially determined aspects of our lives, A, they are external to the individual. Secondly, they are coercive, meaning they have the power that they can force the individual to follow or comply, to submit. So the society forces me to speak a particular language, to worship certain deities, to wear certain kind of clothes, to live in certain types of marriages, and so on and so forth. All right? Celebrate Azadi now. Okay. We end for the day. Any of you had any doubts that you wanted to discuss? Feel free to walk over and we'll discuss.